Hello, it's Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Welcome back to the channel. Well, developments are happening fast, but if you're watching crap news like BBC, you'll have a false impression of what's happening for sure, as it's very Western orientated and doesn't give the full picture. So hopefully, I can provide a little bit more. Uh, but just starting with the BBC, the news is that all the US Israeli Epstein axis is going to have a surge in attacks on Iran. So Trump is saying you better surrender and all that sort of stuff, or I'm going to choose the next Iranian leader. I mean, how deranged is this? So I believe actually the real reason behind these messages and the activation of other parts of the war, uh, uh, which I believe are imminent, because the Axis is desperate. They're running out of munitions, and their original decapitation strikes didn't work. In fact, as you'll find out, the Iranians and others who are supporting Iran are actually making some headway. I'll start with Armenia, where it's safe for the moment, but there have been reports of gunfire explosions next to Armenia from, I guess, the Nakhichevan enclave, which was reported to have been hit by at least drones. The evidence is unclear as to where these drones came from, but it seems pretty clear that with only one or two drones, it was not a major strike of some sort. It it seems to be just an operation to get the attention of Azerbaijan, and the only winner I can see out of that was probably Azerbaijan itself and its Israeli minders. What I mean by that is it's probably just another one of these false flag attacks that is trying to bring other parts of the region into the war. Uh, and I think the Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev, his reaction speaks volumes. It seems to be like almost a declaration of war. Uh, I can't see that it's going to be any good for Azerbaijan, but anyway, let's see what happens from there. The fallout in the Gulf is continuing with attacks in Bahrain and also in other parts like Kuwait and Qatar, Saudi. Although I should mention these are some of these attacks are clearly false flag attacks also that were found by Saudi authorities to have been instigated by Israeli operatives. Surprise, surprise. False flags seem to be part of what Israel has done since 9/11, right? If I look at specific examples of feedback from Qatar, uh, I can see that people are starting to talk about cancelling contracts and moving away from the US alliance. So, I mean, this is just a lose lose situation for the US and the West in general. Now they understand that they can't trust the West when it comes to it, and that the West's only interest really is in protecting the genocidal Israel. In Iraq, there are reports, I don't know if they're verified or not, of US troops moving towards the Iranian border. Kurds have already made statements that they're not interested in attacking Iran, and quite wisely so. They need to be neutral, like Armenia. So in Syria, we see that there's more attacks from Syrian groups, new groups apparently. What a mess this entire conflict has made of the region. Nowhere less so than in Lebanon, where we've got hundreds of thousands of people now fleeing. I mean, the invasion to the Litani River is horrific, but I don't think it's going to end there. I think the Israelis have got their designs on Beirut, and so there's going to be an enormous humanitarian catastrophe once again for the poor, long suffering Lebanese. I feel very sorry for them. Moving to the Indian Ocean, the horrific attack on an unarmed Iranian ship, which went to India for ceremonial purposes, can best be described as probably the best example I can think of right now of how the West does not care about international law, because when that ship sailed out and it was sunk by a US submarine, the sailors who survived in the water were not picked up shamefully by the US ships. So, I mean, that speaks volumes, and unfortunately, it appears that there were at least 3 Australians aboard that submarine. So, unfortunately, Australia has to share that shame. And the shame also falls on India, of course, because it appears that India, with its Prime Minister Modi, who went to Israel.
The interesting thing is that I know that the Prime Minister would not sell India under normal circumstances. He will not do it. You know why he sold India? Because they are choking him.
Mr. Rahul, address to the chair, please.
He has sold India because they are choking him. They've got a grip on his neck.
I mean, the ramifications of all of this is just, it's going to many parts of the world now. In Europe, the Croatian president has made statements about making sure that Croatia doesn't trade anymore with Israel.
U ovakvim okolnostima suradnja sa Izraelom što se hrvatske vojske tiče nema. To je jedna zvjerska politika i to je vojska koja je odgovorna za najgore ratne zločine u formi, u sadržaju i protiv puno slabijih od sebe. To je isto kukački. Dakle, jedno je kad se mlatiš sa sebi ravnima, a Izrael je to zadnje puta radio 73. I tad su im Amerikanci govorili prijeteću pomoć. Dakle, to što je izraelska vojska i politika, dakle, i cijeli establishment napravio u Gazi je stravično. Ja to nisam nikad nazvao genocidom, nego neviđenim gaženjem humanitarnog prava i ljudskosti. I s takvom vojskom hrvatska vojska neće surađivati. Ja to kao vrhovni zapovjednik osjećam i kao svoj moralni poziv.
In Ukraine, the Epstein revelations about Zelensky are now putting much more pressure on the Ukrainian government.
Among thousands of documents, several files shed light on the ties between Jeffrey Epstein and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. On January 3, 2010, Yehor Skaliha, at the time the owner of the Ukraine-based casting agency Centrocast, wrote an email to Epstein describing a 13-year-old girl with an acting background. Epstein replied asking the girl's location, to which Skaliha replied that the girl is in Mariupol, Ukraine, and that she has a Schengen visa and is free to travel any day. 2 weeks later, Sofia Jelenkova, a 13-year-old Ukrainian girl, went missing in Mariupol. The Ukrainian media describe her exactly as the person Skaliha told Epstein about: 173 centimeters tall, medium build, waist-length light brown hair. She was never found. It's highly likely that Sofia was trafficked to the U.S. and is actually the person in the pictures with Prince Andrew. The timing of her disappearance matches Prince Andrew's last official meeting with Epstein in December 2010 in New York City. The surroundings in the pictures match the interior of Epstein's mansion. In another email from Skaliha, dated January 11, 2011, he wrote, "Too bad the prince did our little actress dirty." It's not quite clear what Skaliha means, but in another file, a different girl is mentioned who was sold for sex and torture. And the email mentions that Prince Andrew was an accessory to her death. In 2009, a year before Sofia went missing, Skaliha, the owner of Centrocast, was hired by Kvartal 95. Skaliha mentions it in one of his letters to Epstein, writing that he's working for a promising production company in Ukraine run by a Jewish guy who's into acting and screenwriting. He's a big fan of yours and wants to help, Skaliha writes. The Jewish guy is Volodymyr Zelensky, who at the time was a rising star of the Ukrainian film industry, with Centrocast looking for extras for his movies. It's unclear if Zelensky ever met Epstein in person, but he surely kept Skaliha close. In 2023, Centrocast was renamed to Firepoint, and the company started producing Flamingo missiles. Skaliha went from being Zelensky's employee who supplied Epstein with underage girls to owning the largest missile-producing company in Ukraine.
If we focus on Israel itself and note the speech of the Israeli government, you'll notice that they talk about the enlargement of Israel. So we can understand that all of this is about hegemony, greater Israel. But at the same time, Israel is being hit. Not that the Israelis are allowing too much coverage of it, but of the videos that come out, and also videos of troops who have had enough. They don't want to be part of the Zionist army.
אימא'לה! מה אני רואה באלוהים? הלך משה ברקת! מה אני רואה? אימא'לה! שלושה חברים פנימיים, תלכו לבנצו! הרסת את המדינה! זה לא מתאים עכשיו, זה לא מתאים עכשיו. אתה מדהים ואתה אצלי בבסיס, אתה לא תעשה, נו. תלך אחורה. אל תיגע בי. אל תתנהג. בסדר, אל תיגע בי. אל תיגע בי. אל תתנהג אצלי ככה בבסיס. זה לא הבסיס שלך, זה הבסיס שלך. זה הבסיס שלי. בסדר, קיבלתי, אחי. קיבלתי.
We can see that the cracks are emerging. In Iran, we can see that there's still a lot of resistance. They're being hit. They are hitting back with, for example, the ships in the Hormuz and the Persian Gulf are being attacked. So I can't see how the US is going to be able to open up the Straits of Hormuz. As I mentioned earlier, this economic catastrophe for not just the West, but the world is going to make sure that the Israeli US Epstein access is not going to have any more than a couple of weeks to be able to manage this situation before, one, they run out of munitions, or two, the world's economy is going to crash so badly that they're going to have to withdraw. Meanwhile, the Americans making stupid statements like, Iran is run by religious maniacs. And we see, in fact, that this label could be applied to the United States itself. I'm going to finish on just a little clip of remembrance from the civilians who unfortunately are always the casualties on any side. But in this case, we see the resilience of the Iranian people in regards to this horrific massacre of Iranian school children, but also a strength as they remember the loss of their civilians. And we hope that this carnage, this horror that the Epstein, Trump axis of evil has wrought upon the earth, we hope that it will end soon, and that the people who started this will be brought to justice. This is Len from Straight Talk from the Homeland. Thanks for following the channel. Please like, share, and subscribe.